Next up we have Paul Wilson from Starcom. He's talking about when Sam met Carol, the importance of personal experience in research. Paul's head of consumer context planning at Starcom MediaVest, and that'll probably do. Paul, after 3, ready, steady, go.
Okay, I want to talk to you about when Sam met Carol. It's a story about the personal experience in research. Before I begin, I should make a confession. I'm a bit of an imposter. I'm not a full-time researcher. And so my talk is more from the perspective of a consumer of research and some of the stuff we're doing at Starcom. Before I start, I thought I'd share some dad advice with you. This picture of my dad, Peter, and me doing some DIY. As I was growing up, Dad was fond of telling me, usually after I'd messed something up, Paul, experience is the best school, but the fees are very high. I think Dad was right, as personal experience has a huge impact on the way you view the world. Henry Rousseau, when he painted this, had never seen a tiger before. In fact, he'd never left France. In fact, this becomes clear when you look at the tiger a bit closer and you look at the vegetation. It's not like vegetation you've seen before. And I think, we laugh at Rousseau's naive idea of what a tiger is now because we have technologies connected us with the outside world, and we have a better idea of tigers. But this hasn't stopped a creative transporting a tiger 2,000 miles from India to chase some African tribesmen. And I think that's what the problem with technology is. It can isolate us as much as it connects us. And with technology, we only have to hear what we want to hear. And we can filter out things that challenge our worldview. And in effect, we can create a simulation of the world that isn't often challenged. And I think the danger in not challenging the way we think is we create just so stories. By this, I mean compelling stories that sound true but actually aren't. So the elephant didn't get his trunk by being stretched by the crocodile, as much as we'd like to believe that. And I think, from our point of view at Stockholm, how do we avoid these just so stories? One of the challenges we face is how do we get people out of their London bubble, experiencing things that will challenge their perspective and view of the world. It's a nice picture. £1.50. I think research has an important role to play in this, but the power of research gets diluted once it's written down in a document, passed on to the client then passes on to the agency passes on to the planner adds it as part of the research on his desk, before finally about 7 o'clock reading it. Don't convince yourself that actually going to a focus group, attending a focus group is going to give you that personal experience, because glass is as much an insulator as technology is. You get a completely different feeling behind the glass, you can shout at people, ignore them, and you can drink much nicer wine as well. So a technical picture. In front of the glass, you have to change your whole view of people, you have to experience what they experience, you have to connect with them. And there's no hiding from things, it can be much more uncomfortable. But it makes you empathise with people. You can't just dismiss their arguments, but you're still playing by their rules in your environment. One of my challenges on a recent pitch was how do I get Sam here, one of our account managers, to connect with people we want him to talk to. How do we get him to connect with a 40-year-old housewife in Coventry? As a media agency, we're very good at quant information, but not very good at qual information. We don't get exposed to it that much. Sam here doesn't get invited to research groups. So rather than conduct research myself and report back to people, I got them to go and shopping with a bunch of respondents. So Sam went shopping with Carol here, and they spent the day getting to know each other and shopping at Sainsbury's. Understandably, they were quite nervous about this experience. The biggest effect of this approach was to challenge people's stereotypes. Sam connected with Carol and left with a new respect and understanding for the day-to-day problems she faced. It was a short relationship, its impact was much longer lasting than that. And in fact, from that, some really interesting insights came through. There was a much more increased respect and understanding of Carol and her life. One of the things Sam noticed is that Carol didn't use a shopping list at all. She shopped visually. In fact, all the people we went shopping with didn't use a shopping list. Massive impact on the way we plan media, because you want to have visual media close to the point of purchase. And this experience also, created a whole bunch of ideas. It acted as a catalyst because people were immersed in a different world and could see things from a different perspective, challenge their ideas, and they produced much more relevant ideas as a result. So I'm not saying that research is rubbish, but what I am saying is, I'm getting confused over this. But and I don't want to say get gonzo media planners doing your research for you. But what it does give them is a perspective, a much better perspective on your research. I think too often great insights are kind of buried and overlooked, or simply not believed. Let's be honest, it's very hard to connect with a research report. And that's why personal experience is so powerful. It allows you to see through the writing, to connect with a person on a human level. Here's the good news. The financial cost of gaining that experience is very, very cheap. It's just a train ticket. I didn't have much problem getting the budget signed off for this piece of research. But why don't people get out of the office more and do this type of work as well? And I think the answer to that is because the biggest cost is to your ego. People are scared to go where the wild things are. They don't want to feel exposed. They don't want to get their ideas rubbished, and they don't like not being in control, which is a shame because it's a lot of fun, really. So, in conclusion, personal experience really colours the way you absorb research. So next time you're doing a project, think how you can get your Carol, your Sams in your office to connect with their Carols. Thank you very much.